Well, hello guys, David Vost here, and boy, was it a beautiful day in Oklahoma today. I mean, it's winter, and it's a little chilly, but it's beautiful. But man, had a wonderful discussion with ROBB LAPEAN. We were able to sit down and have a little chat and discuss all things that's going on. So we'll give you some updates today, and I will let you listen to our conversation and listen to ROBB LAPEAN as he explains everything that's going on the refuge there in Michigan. So I'll go ahead and without further ado let you listen to that interview that I had with ROBB LAPEAN today, our dear brother in Michigan. Here you go, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's so much going on with all the 60 different tribes, and
honestly, it's they're having a big event here coming up on the 22nd, and we may be flying out there on the 20th. I'm gonna have to see if we can even make that happen or not. But it is the they're gonna have a big meeting in Huixi-Lujan, and that is the 60 indigenous tribes. Are actually in the mountains, and they call it a magical city, and there's 60 of them in Huixi-Lujan. They're called magical cities, so they're like the original people are still there. They still hold their heritage. Some of them, like the ones that I showed you, one of the gentlemen, Juan, he's a judge, and he's a tribal leader, I guess what you'd call him, like a chief, and he actually spent time in prison fighting for his land.
awesome. So you got, there's 1,100 acres, right?
That, yeah, okay, back to the United States. 1,100 acres. Yep, up in, it's in 2 counties. It's in Wakefield, or 2 cities, I should say, Wakefield and Bessemer. And we got roughly a square, just under a square mile in each of them, cities.
How do you envision all this happening? What do you think, how is this all going to work?
Well, honestly, right now, we've got it under contract, and because I had come down with COVID, December 1st. We were supposed to take over on the 15th, or before the 15th. But if we couldn't do that, then we had to wait till after the season, because they make a lot of money. They make $4 million in this 4 months. Okay. Right. So if we didn't get in there before November 15th, then I had to wait till April 15th. So now we're waiting till April 15th. They're running it this season, which is probably the best anyhow, because I didn't really know how to run it yet. So I do have a cousin up there working right now, and he's learning the ins and outs and kind of keeping track. And then I'm going to be spending a lot more time up here now that I've recovered from COVID and get my feet back on the ground. Yeah. So it's been been a journey.
That's a story in itself. That's the way the Lord has brought you through this. I can't even believe all the stuff that's been going on, but you've just been getting her done. Well,
it was a year ago. I was up there, and I literally left because we had been shut down for a long time. Our governor had us shut down almost an entire year, and then open us up, shut us back down. So it's pretty much destroying our economy. I've seen my friends going out of business, been in business for years. Everybody, it was devastating. And then we couldn't go into restaurants around here. I mean, they had us locked down tight in Michigan for a long time. And so I was going stir crazy. And finally, I'm like, I got to get away. I had to get some inspiration, and with everything that was going on. And so we went up north just to. I was looking at actually a different piece of property, 250 acres. And the first person I come across at the hotel told me that this one had just went up for sale. So this is a year ago today, and or not today, but a year ago roughly around this time.
Yeah, I remember when you called and told me about it, and you were all excited.
Oh, I know. There was so much to it, and then it's been just kind of like a journey ever since, because, we went up there just to look. We really didn't have the money to buy or anything, but that's how we do it. We get some inspiration, and then we go, we got to help feed our dreams or whatever and keep me moving.
That's why most people can't do this, because you did this all on faith, Rob. You're literally working with just purely on on your skills and prayer.
Well, it's just the way it's always kind of seemed like everybody needs some sort of inspiration. I guess some people just don't maybe dream as big or whatever, but anything's possible. Okay, so I went up there and I loved it so much, and I honestly didn't have the money to buy it, even though we're in the canvas business here, which is an extremely good business.
It seems like I can't even believe that you could even buy something like that, to be honest with you.
Well, we got it in contract and we are buying it, so it's not that difficult. It is a lot of money.
Well, so it's not that difficult for you, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I don't actually have the cash to buy it, so we've got that's the thing, So I've had it under contract for 2 months now, and we were supposed to take it over, but it obviously didn't happen. I got the COVID or what have you. They allowed to keep it in contract. I had to put another $100,000 down on it, so we got $200,000 dollar deposit on it, and that's given us to April 15th. And I have several people that are standing in line right now. We're just going to have to go with the one that's going to give us the best terms. I would like to self-fund it, and that's possible, and it seems to be the way it's going, because every time I get involved with one of these lending institutions or a broker, they always want to go behind my back and try to steal the deal. So
how many times has that happened to you?
That's just part of our Harvard business model. It's legal.
That's this world that we live in.
Yeah. So anyways, we've been trying to figure out ways to more or less self-fund, and even going through that with my attorneys and accountants and everything. It's very difficult to do a project like this without getting hedge funds involved or, some sort of investor, mainstream investor, or just a loan, I guess. But so in the nature of our business,
I feel like the Lord raises people up that have different gifts and stuff, and you're just the person to do. You're just not a lot of people could go through all of this. There's a lot of the business end of everything. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress because we're dealing with this world the way it is, and it took a lot of prayer to get, I'm sure, where you're at.
You know how many times I've called you and told you I'm giving up and no one cares, and why do we work so hard through all this,
Well,
whatever. But I made it a point when I discovered cannabis. It's been 2009, so it's been quite a few years ago. It's like 13 years or something. I discovered the oil, and we had just become legal in 2008 here, and that's how I got involved in it. And ever since then, I was supposed to be gone back then. I had a idiopathic blood disease. They didn't know what was wrong. They didn't know how to fix me, stringing me out on drugs, taking body parts out of me. That's one reason I had COVID so bad, is I don't have a spleen, so I couldn't clean whenever you get sick, it just lasts longer. Your blood, you don't have no filter. So they took that out of me back when I was sick, and it didn't even help. They just took my body part for no reason. Yeah,
they always do that. Oh, we don't need this. We'll just take it out.
No, I just make $20,000 for taking your body part out for no reason. So
my goodness.
So anyways, that's how it all started back then. And I after I started to recover, and I just felt a lot better. I just figured it was like a freebie ever since then. I shouldn't have been alive, so it was amazing that I was even able to eat this cannabis.
Well, it's obvious
oil.
The Lord it's just completely obvious that all of this is happening, with the Lord's direction. I can't even get over the fact that, what was it, a year ago, like you said, or something like that we started, talking about this and praying about it, and then you just, the Lord just guided you, and you just, bam, and now all of a sudden all these connections and all the things that's going on. I feel like it's absolutely and completely the Lord's guidance and direction guiding you, Rob. I believe that with all my heart.
Yeah, it's like completely. it's completely supernatural, for sure. I mean, it's like I think that's why it has to be this way, is so that no one can say, hey, I did this or I did that. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's
right.
too unbelievable for anybody to have planned it out, So
right,
it's awesome. And
right.
Yeah,
so,
it's just a matter of I'm kind of like you. Ever since I've been young, I've had a feeling in my mind that things weren't right in this world, and that I just didn't agree with a lot of it. And so say if nothing was happening, say if the whole world wasn't locked down and people walk around wearing masks and all that, and forcing us, making us feel like we got to get, shots and different things just to live. Okay, so if it wasn't
got to
going
have a token to live.
Absolutely. If it wasn't going on, I still want to live free. I still want to have good food. I still want to have good water to drink. I still want to have a safe place for me and my family to be able to walk out and enjoy nature. And so no matter what.
Makes you wonder why somebody hasn't done this before. They have. It's only for the rich and famous.
Yeah. If you want to go to a retreat like this just for 5 days or so, it costs you, $2,500 to $5,000 usually.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's not that kind of retreat.
No, but I mean that's just why nobody gets to enjoy it. So that's the difference between what we're going to do. We're going to allow everybody to be able to participate if they're interested.
But you had no idea. I mean, when you started praying and looking around, I mean, this just came up kind of by divine,
It was. I had no idea what I was going up there for at all. I was actually looking at a different resort. It was called Powderhorn, and it was $2.5 million, and it was only 250 acres. But it was for sale. I didn't know this. This one had not been listed yet, so no one knew it was for sale. So when I went up there, it was just fresh on the market. And honestly, I didn't get it into contract until like 2 months ago. I tried for 2 months, and then it went under contract with another gentleman, another company, and they couldn't raise the money, so he fell out of contract. And he fell out of contract only for 3 days, long enough for them to call me while I was heading to West Virginia myself. And then I had to make a decision right there on the spot. They called me and said, do you want a chance? And I said, yes.
So tell us how that happened, because it seems like it all just kind of unfolded in such an amazing way. I mean, like you said, this guy fell out of contract. 3 days later, they call you. I mean, it's like somebody wants you to have that place.
It's so weird. Yeah, because when it did go into contract with him, he only had it into contract for 2 months. So I was working, I can't remember the exact dates, but I was working on it for a few months. No one would listen to me. None of the investors that I'm involved with. And, I've done some big deals. I've done a $9.5 million deal. We did a $6.5 million. This cannabis business is big dollar, business. But unfortunately, I reinvest all my money directly back into the business. I'm like kind of crazy about that. So a minimalist who reinvests all his money back into their business, that's why it grows fast. We work lots of hours. I got my family works with me. We all been doing this for 13, 14 years. So regardless, we've been in a lot of situations like that. And so it's nothing new for me as far as the big numbers. But the cool thing is just the fact that we got the opportunity to find 1,100 acres contiguous. And let me tell you, the thing that I fell in love with more than anything was there's roughly $300 million of infrastructure already on the resort. Over 62 years. So 62 years. Each one of them lists cost $200.5 million, and there's 15 of them. So, I mean, there's just so much. And not only that, we have a 5-acre pond at the very top of Blackjack Mountain, pumping water from the Black River. So we got a permit to pump water right out of the river with a big, huge pump house. That's how we make the snow.
So it's self-sufficient, what you're saying. I mean, you got water, electricity, you got your own generator. You're going to be growing your own herbs and food.
Yeah, they don't run it. They don't run it self-sufficient right now. It's actually, they depend on the grid and all that, but it's going to be self-sufficient within the next 24 months. At least that's what our goal is. And
so you have a way to make sure that everybody has water and you've got your own electricity plant or something,
Water's not ever going to be an issue for us because we have several. Not only are we surrounded by the Great Lakes, but we also have mountain springs. We have several mountain springs just pumping water out all year long, 24/7.
Yeah, you got like a major river.
Oh yeah, we got
beautiful river.
We got probably, I'm going to say, 1.5 miles maybe on the Black River frontage, and then the same on the Jackson Creek, which is almost like a river.
And that's beautiful terrain in there. I mean, you got waterfalls coming down. It's almost like paradise.
It is, and it's sacred. It's just sacred land. You can feel it when you walk on it. People will heal just literally walking through the woods. I mean, it's a whole different feeling than down here in the city in the cement jungle where we're at. Not only that, it has a beautiful waterfall, and it's a 3-tiered waterfall. It's a really got a beautiful shape to it, and you know that they were doing ceremony and prayers and sacred things there.
Oh, brother, that is a sacred area for sure. It is a sacred area.
Feel it. You can feel it. That's
another part of this. It seems like you ended up you just found out about this and looked into it, and turns out you're surrounded by Native American land, and you ended up befriending David. And tell us about that.
Okay, David Gaskin, and he's actually on the contract with me. So we are planning on turning, a good portion of this, if not all of it, will be in the church's Native American Church of Turtle Island's name, and my company, United We Stand, which are we're pretty much one and one. But regardless, you can, all the information's on our website for both of them.
And is this the company, or is this what's related to what's going on in Mexico as well?
Mexico, yeah. So the Native American Church was formed by David Gaskin, and his grandmother formed the second largest tribe in the second largest tribe. Hold on, let me get this. I send a message. So anyways, the second largest tribe in the United States, which would be the Sault Ste. Marie Chippewa Indians. Okay, so they're a border tribe. So he's actually indigenous to Canada and the United States. Well, he's also indigenous now to Mexico because he's got a child down there, and he's a citizen. So
and his wife's from there, isn't she?
Yeah. His son's name Quetzalcoatl. Yeah, it's his middle name. I forgot what his first name is.
Oh, wow.
He's a real cute kid. And he's actually down in the Cancun area, down there. So not necessarily Mexico, but a little further. And then, so we're actually doing great things down there right now. We've signed a contract with the Mexican Department of Agriculture. So we're going to be going down there. We've got a contract to actually grow cannabis, which they call it cannamol down there. Both THC, marijuana, and industrial hemp. So what they want is the beginning of the tree of life. What's that?
Tree of life, brother.
Absolutely. I mean, and even though they're known for growing it, in the black market for years and years, they have very little technology or very little knowledge of business or anything like that in order to make it into what they want to do with it. They just don't. We've broken it down. We have more technology here in the United States, and that's what they want. And we're looking to get more spiritualism from them and knowledge, because they still have knowledge. They have generations all the way back. So.
Yeah, the elders are beginning to sort of realize what's going on, aren't they?
Absolutely, and they know. They know what time it is more than we do. They know. They can read the Mayan calendar. They can read the stars. They know a lot more than we know. So we definitely need their wisdom, that's for sure.
So I hear there's a lot going on down there as well. Like, what's the thing about which of the temples was it that you got to see there?
Okay, well, I actually got to see all the pyramids, which you're saying is which I thought was pretty cool. If that, with Enoch.
Yeah, that is the original temple. It certainly is.
Actually, they named one is Jesus's pyramid. They call it Quetzalcoatl's pyramid. You know what I mean? You're standing there looking at them things, wondering, man, how, why would they even build these? It's like crazy. I will tell you one thing that happened when we were down there, and that around all them pyramids there, they're all fenced in, and so you got to go inside there and through a couple openings. Well, we tried to fly a drone because we wanted to get a nice drone shot, and that you couldn't even fly that drone around there. That drone was like controlling itself, so we shut it down because we were afraid we were going to lose it. But it wouldn't steady itself.
There was some sort of like electromagnetic interference or something?
Yes, something like that. Yeah, it ran into a tree by itself. It did all kinds of weird stuff. So we just took it down.
So did you get to go down under there and look at it?
What's that, the pyramids?
Like, did you really get to take a look at some of the pyramids? And
oh, yeah.
Were there any tunnels?
You can climb on them. You can walk on them. They're huge.
Yeah.
They're huge. And but what the neatest part of the trip for me was when we actually went and signed the deal in Huixi-Lujan up in the mountains after we signed the contract with the community. We went up, and it's 9,000 hectare acres. We also delivered the codices to them from Harvard while we were on the trip. That was kind of the biggest.
Tell us about that. What is going on? Codices?
Yeah, so the codices, Harvard's had them in their possession for quite a few years now, and they actually had them recopied. I believe it was I think they were from the 13 or 1400s, something like that. They recopied them in like the 1600s, so they could keep them good, and that's what they have now. But what a codice is when the Spaniards would come through in the priest or the Vatican, they would come through and they would say they would actually record the land, make a map, all the major landmarks and stuff, the mountains and the pyramids. They'd record it all, and what land was that particular group's territory. Then they would actually paint pictures of each person. They would paint a picture of each person, and then they would put their names down, their religion. They would actually record their base history and their names, and then they would give them an opportunity to either denounce everything they believe and then turn to Christianity, or they would make them bury the pyramids, and then they would murder them, and then they would keep some of the young women, and they would rape them because they knew they couldn't kill all of them. So then they wanted to breed their race out. That's why you see such young women in the Native American and in the Mexican communities that get young at a young age, because it's because of cultural rape.
Wow.
So
this is happening all at the same time while you're making phone calls and meeting people and everything's opening up, and now they're handing the key to the city and and you're getting codices, and it's like this is all divinely happening, all kind of synchronistically. It cannot be accidental that you're seeing these things all happen at once. It's just amazing.
No, it's like being in like a movie or something. It's really like after a ceremony in Huixi-Lujan, we climbed up roughly 5 miles. It took us to get to the top of this pyramid, and I'm telling you, there was some medicine women and wizards, and there was a good group of people, probably about 40 people that did this, kids and everything. And they beat us all up there. That was the last one coming up the hill. All the Americans could barely make it. Okay, these old women carrying a big vase in one hand with fire burning in it, climbing up the mountain, got there before me.
Man. It must have been joyful, I tell you.
It was something else. And then so David Gaskin is obviously the chief from the north, so he's the chief. He's a spiritual chief of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe.
And they recognized him as fulfilling a prophecy?
Yeah, so he holds the eagle staff. And then Francisco, who's the chief of the mountain we were on in Huixi-Lujan there, Francisco Aguilero, so it means eagle, which is kind of crazy, but He's got the Condor staff. He's got the staff of the South. So we were on top. We were actually on top of a mountain where Montezuma used to live. Okay, these were his descendants.
See, Montezuma was. Yeah, what I understand is Montezuma was the one that was there when the Spaniards came and greeted them, and they thought the Spaniards were Quetzalcoatl, the feathered plumed serpent. They thought it was Christ returning.
Yeah, this was his.
So they opened up their city and then they massacred him, right?
Yeah. So part of this. Yeah, exactly. So this was his city, and we were on his mountain, and we were standing on top of his pyramid, which is a big, huge turtle, and they didn't even know it was there until just recently. They discovered it from the satellite view or a sky view, and so you can see its head sticking out and his big arms. And then now they got pictures. Listen, the codices had pictures of it. Not only do they have pictures of it, it shows that way down at the bottom of it, there's a giant buried under there.
Oh, my. and this whole Turtle Island thing is so important to the whole story.
Yes.
Yeah. And it
all goes together.
It goes all the way up to Wisconsin where you're at, this whole story, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Ring of Mountains. And then not only that, that's sacred land up there. It's where the Sweetwater Seas were, and that's where they were told to go, I guess, when the Nephites come over here to go up the streams or whatever to the Sweetwater Seas. So they were up in there because it's the land that grows on water. Michigan looks like it's floating on water, and there was so much food on this property that I live on here that you never needed anything. There was so many fruits and wild vegetables. I mean, you couldn't even walk 10 steps without having something to eat.
Exactly. It was a land bountiful.
You didn't need nothing.
Exactly.
We used to have a horse indigenous to Michigan that they just completely massacred. They killed all of them. They're called the Chippewa pony, and we didn't even know we had them. So many things.
Just like they got rid of all the buffalo, huh?
Yeah, the buffalo. Yeah. Just that you could feed your family and your whole town for who knows, a couple weeks or something. Michigan was a very peaceful and sacred place. They didn't have war here. They only had one rumor of a war within 500 years. And it was a Chippewa and an Ottawa boy got in a fight over a fishing net, and I guess one stabbed the other. And they kept that story going for 500 years.
Wow.
And it kept them from killing each other. They weren't allowed around. This land we're on right here was the medicine people. People come here to get healed. They would, they'd come here for treatment. See, they made Indians sound like they didn't travel. Every road we have is on an Indian trail.
Yeah.
I-75, Indian
trail.
Trail.
This has always been the land of promise, hasn't it? A place of refuge.
The Anishinaabe traveled all over, all the way from Peru, all the way up into Alaska. All the way across the United States. No one told them where they could and can't go.
Right.
But we made it sound like they were dancing around the fire. Whoa.
What is the connection with David's wife and what's going on down there in Mexico City?
So they're basically down there, and they founded the church in Mexico. So the Native American Church of Turtle Island was founded in Mexico, even though David is indigenous, obviously, to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Well, he was raised on the reservation. And the difference between David is, even though he's the spiritual chief and the staff holder for his tribe, he's exactly half French Canadian. That's what I am, French Canadian. I've only got a little bit of Chippewa.
That's the prophecy of the white chief.
Yeah, so there's a prophecy. Actually, that's why they take it so serious down there, because they're all spiritual and we're not. Okay, but there's actually a prophecy called the eagle and the condor. And that's when we joined.
Yeah, you were just talking about that.
Absolutely, the North and the South. That's what they did. They actually put David's staff in the South, and they put, Francisco's staff in the North. And,
so the two staffs came together. Is that it?
They come together, and they put them in each other's spot. So that means they're joining. And it was the eagle, eagle and the condor.
This is very, very, very prophetic
there's actually an old book down there called The Great White Chief of the North. It's been a wise tale, and it's been told down in Mexico forever. You can Google it.
Yeah,
you can look it up. You can order the book. So
there's all of a sudden, we start praying for the Lord to, for refuge and for guidance, and he opens this all up, and now it seems like all around you, people are coming out of the woodwork and just fulfilling prophecy, and everything just starting to take place. Like, they're giving you the key to the city or something, and the tribes.
Well, they give David the key. Yeah, they give David the key to the city. They're giving us a checking account. Our church is getting. That's why I have to go down there possibly on the 20th maybe, and my son may be going with me. My youngest son. Go ahead.
Which city?
We're going to fly in.
Mexico?
We're going to fly into Mexico City, and then we're going to go to Huixi Lujan, which is 60 indigenous magical cities, all of them.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to have this big. It's a big celebration, I guess, and because we're getting our bank account. And then.
So what?
And then.
To what extent does that since that's kind of the central location where the great city was? Is that like something that most the natives from South America to North America would understand and appreciate this prophecy coming true?
Well, some of them would, but unfortunately, we had performed such cultural genocide on our natives here in America. They are very people that need a lot of help. They've been hurt so bad, even in our lifetime. They're the most, a native woman is the woman that disappears more than any other woman. Because you know why?
Oh my!
Because they own this property and they still own it. This is David's property. I'm standing on his. I mean, it's all of ours, right? According to God. But I mean, if you want to get technical, if you want to get technical, according to the way the law reads, for once it's in our favor, because this is their property and they don't pay taxes. They can't be told what to do. They don't have to obey state laws. I mean, they got to be careful off the reservation. That's one of the purposes for the church. We all don't live on a reservation, but we want protection similar to what they would have. And David's given us that protection, through his platform that he's developed. His grandmother taught him these things. She formed, his reservation.
You're saying that you're saying the native peoples and their sovereignty is really what's giving you, what's giving us
it's the only protection we have against what's going on.
So I would say that's kind of like a carefully given to mankind that like the government probably didn't know what they were doing. They didn't want to, but somehow or another they could never defeat the sovereignty of this land.
No matter how many they killed, no matter how many they give them casinos not to help them out. David hates casinos. He doesn't want it. His tribe has six of them. He remembers dragging his, mom, dad, whatever, out of the casinos when they've been drinking and gambling and spending their check in one day. So they did that to keep them down. They didn't do that to help them. And so anyways, but they do have a lot of money and they don't have to pay taxes and they do own their own property and no one can tell them to do anything on it practically. So when they own the Black Hills, they own everything that's in the Black Hills, including the gold. Okay. So they own something. Unfortunately, we're renting. Okay.
Yeah.
We all rent. We rent our space. And what they did in Mexico, which I thought was great, and they just did it right around 12 years ago, so it's taken them this long to organize, is they literally kicked the Vatican right out. They kicked the Catholic Church out, said, you're not here. And you know how big time they were over there. They had got them people practically all Catholic. And then they're like, what are we going to do now? And everybody's like, just go back to the way it used to be. That was a simple answer,
Yeah.
So they've been working hard on their indigenous government. They've got two governments over there. They've got a business government, which was extremely corrupt in the past, but it's getting cleaned up. That's what people got to understand. The United States wants to tell us bad things about Mexico. Don't go out there. don't go off the tourist trap, don't do this, you're going to get killed, this, that, and other, which is true. There are dangerous parts of Mexico, no different than there's dangerous parts of Detroit, or dangerous parts of Flint, or dangerous parts of New York, or dangerous parts of Chicago. Probably more dangerous, you know what I mean? So you got to know where you're at. You got to know what you're doing. And the best thing to do is, if the dogs in the community look like they're healthy, you're safe.
Yeah.
That's true. If they don't, then don't get out.
Yeah.
Don't ask for help. And the police were extorting everybody. You know, everybody was corrupt, including the government. Obviously, a drug dealer ran the country for years and years and years, pretty much. So, but now it's getting cleaned up.
What kind of sway or influence are these native peoples having then on the country of Mexico right now?
I mean, so like Mexico's, they don't, you know, trust me, the city of Mexico has 21 million people practically in it. It's big. It's third largest.
Yes,
and
it's a big city.
They're not all broke, okay? They're not all poor, but there is a large population of, you know, people that are living in a poverty, but their poverty is different than our poverty over here. It's almost like they're used to it and they learn how to do it. You know what I mean? But the difference is over there, they all have a place to live. In a sense, they all have houses. Even if it's not a nice house, that's one thing they have, is a house to live in. When you got a house to live in, you don't need much after that. You just got to find out how to eat. But what happened here is, it's hard to live in a house here. We don't, you know, it's hard. It's expensive. There it's cheaper, you know. So, and they passed their houses down in the through the families, and then not only that, I'm not saying there's no homeless people there. There is, but I'm just saying that it's a lot more people. It seems like they have, and it's so warm down there, you know what I mean, all the time, that you could live easy out in the mountains or whatever. And even though there's a lot of people in the city, there's hardly anybody in the mountains. So they're doing the same thing that we're trying to do up there. They're actually a little bit ahead of us. They want to do the same thing.
Is there any recognition from the actual government of Mexico, though, that of any of this, you know, are they recognized?
This celebration that I'm telling you about, that's coming up here on the 22nd, is listed on the government website.
Okay, so they're kind of recognizing the fact that the native peoples are they're returning the land, more or less.
Absolutely, and that's why the codices were so important, because that identifies all the way back. So Juan, when we give him them codices, his land went from 7,000 acres to 9,000 acres, like literally.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're giving it back to him. Literally, they're giving. So what's happening now? So let's say our movement in the Native American, you know, how we give them the reservations and different things like that. That's kind of what's happening there. They're getting their land back. They don't have to pay taxes on it. It's not owned by the Vatican. It's, you know, it's not. There's none of these fake taxes and stuff on it. They're giving it back to the people, and they're basically recognizing, you know, their religions as
so they're getting back religion. They're getting back their codices and their history and we've had it over here. So when we were like heroes when we went there, it's kind of crazy, and so they were all excited. All we did was call up Harvard and say, hey, can we have the codices? So not only did they give us like digital copies, but we also got replicas, and they put them in a nice box and did it real nice, because the original ones are kept in the storage that's, if we take them out of there, they could like break apart and fall apart, and they're the reason that seems so important to me, because, you know, prophetically, the restoration of Israel will be, you know, even as Joseph Smith said, the book shall be opened, and it'll be like as though they whisper out of the ground, or the knowledge shall come forth. You know, so in other words, not only are they waking up to who they are, and going and then getting their land back, but it's like their history is coming back and the truth is coming back, is the way I see it.
It's almost like the Catholic Church extorted themselves because they recorded their genocide in detail.
Yeah.
And now
I'm sure there's a lot more recorded.
See how it's turning around on them now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely really amazing. So, and the other thing is that, so you just go up there and you just happen to find out about this place, and you put, you know, you look into buying it, and it turns out the whole place is surrounded by Native American tribes and stuff, right?
Ottawa National Forest. We're actually on the forest. We pay $1,200 a month for a big chunk of our ski land, and so we're actually touching and going in through into the forest. So that actually gives us special rights to enter the largest forest, you know, in Upper Michigan.
So you have access. You know, you could go and hunt or something on.
Oh, we can. Yeah, you can access the forest is public land. We can use it. You just gotta obey the rules. There's
there's like thousands of acres.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't see nobody. There's nobody there. It's only 2,000 people per town. So that's 4,000 people, and like I said, we got a square mile. So when you buy mountain property, you get a lot more property for your dollar because you get whatever's you get whatever's piled up the big mountain. So literally to walk across our property from one end to another, it's like 4 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
can get all those hills and valleys.
Yeah, hills, valleys, rivers, gorges. I mean, and the sound is real. It's got real good sound. Like you could have an event going on one mountain, you wouldn't even hear it on the other. Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, just acoustics and stuff. We own the top.
So what do you envision? What do you envision for your for what this refuge? What are we? Are we telling people?
In our reality, it's a business. Okay, it's a resort. Okay, and then we're gonna have we have a wellness. It's a wellness resort, so we're gonna be bringing up people up there with all different types of illnesses, ailments, you know, handicaps and such, and we're going to be treating them with indigenous medicine, and we're going to be using cannabis and such. In the meantime, the people that are interested in helping us with this, because we're going to also be growing our own food year-round, we're installing all of our own energy, several different energy systems, from solar thermal to geothermal to, hydro. We'll have all kinds of backup systems to even wood and wood gas generators and such, like you were saying, so we could just keep like when the power gets shut off, we won't even know. Our indoor swimming pool will still be heated, you know. So I mean it's like it's a real resort with all swimming pools and racquetballs and tennis courts, and I mean it's 1,100 acres. It's a beautiful place, and it's in the middle of nature. It's in the middle of sacred land. So what the goal is to try and get it. My goal is to try and I'm going to try my hardest to self-finance it without having to go for a mortgage, but I am limited for.
So what does that
time.
look like? What do you mean?
So, like I told you, everything's pretty much a scam in our government, right? Including the businesses. So I'm trying to figure out how can I allow people to invest in my company without going on the stock market, because I really don't want to deal with the stock market. I'm not a proponent of that. Not against it. If you want to get in and get out, make some money, but don't think it's a long-term investment. Is all I can say.
Right.
So, anyways, I'm just.
Well, we know all that's going down the tube.
Yeah, whatever. You know, it's the same with cash. Anyways, anything in your bank account or Bitcoin, when the power goes off, how much money do you got?
Yeah.
None. So, or whatever's in your pocket, and you might as well you'll use that to start your fire. Okay?
At this point, we're not interested in money anyway. We're just interested in survival. And
unfortunately, right now, money is still our food. It's our shelter. It's our bread and butter, and it's the most important thing to every human in America. Right? Let me tell you that.
Right.
It just is. So that's the way we look at it, and that's what we were taught, and it's true. They've got us to become and not addicted, but we depend on it, because if we don't have it, we don't have heat, we don't have shelter, we don't have food. But the object is
so in other words, you've got people that need help. You have to have gas to get people to the, they got to have warmth, they got to have a home, we got to have food.
Yeah,
it takes resources. It definitely does.
Yes.
To feed everybody. I mean, look
once you set up renewable energy and it's set up properly, a river don't quit flowing, I guess, unless it dries up. The earth doesn't quit giving out geothermal heat.
Yeah.
The sun is going to pop up. I mean, if it doesn't, we're all doomed anyways, you know what I mean? So
right.
the fact of the matter is we got all these big, they've just made it difficult for us to do things. It's not difficult. It's easy. They've made it difficult. It's really easy, you know. Problem is it does take this green stuff called money, you know. And
for now.
There's a lot of it out there, but what are you willing to give up for it, you know? So, I mean, I that's what I'm trying to say. I've done a lot on my own. I'm technically a millionaire. I've got over $1 million in equity in my properties. I got a $1.2 million owed to me on a note. I've got, you know, I could, you know, took my girlfriend and traveled around and just enjoyed life and forgot about all this. But I know it's not going to last long.
Right.
It's not going to last long. And that would be very selfish of me. So.
Well, I would say that you would never have even thought of that because you've had a long, you know, career of just dealing with situations and the Lord guiding and directing you.
Well, I've thought about it many times, but for some reason I'm still here trying to do what I feel is right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought about it so much, and sometimes I just like wonder how stupid could I be for sacrificing so many hours for what seemingly feels like no pay. But the pay is when we get the title to that resource, which is that property with all them. That's for Michigan. We're taking care of our brothers and sisters down in Mexico. They're already set up. They know what's coming down. They're preparing. They're all for it. I mean, they're all hands on deck. They don't have as much resource as far as cash, but they got physical and mental. You know, they got their skills and they got their selves. What we're lacking here is a lot of labor. There's not, you know, the labor force somehow is diminishing, or either that or people are getting smart and not want to work for nothing. So it's one or the other, you know. I mean, anyhow, I think that people are starting to travel and stuff. Maybe younger kids not so worried about sacrificing their time for money as much anymore, which I don't blame them. I sacrificed most of my life for, you know, money my whole life, and I don't really regret it because I was self-employed, so I had a very flexible schedule, and I've always loved what I do.
Well, you didn't do it for money. Hours. You did it to try and succeed and make a life, you know?
When you love what you're doing, you're never really working, and I always tried to make my work something I enjoyed, which it always was, you know? So, but don't get me wrong. There was times in between the unenjoyable times where I was doing things I didn't really want to do, but you have to. I know what it feels like, you know? I mean, I remember one bad business decision I made. It wasn't really a bad decision. I would say it was, well, I lost my health, first of all, you know what I mean? But I mean, when I was trying to get my health back, I remember there was a period of time where I was without work and without money. And I still had a home and stuff, but I literally had to go change oil. And I think I was like in my mid-40s, and an oil change I used to own. I used to own it and I had 40 cars I'd send down there and here I am in the bottom hitting my head on the steel bar, grease all up my arms. And I talk about a humbling experience, man. It was like, and I was just so humbled. And so anyways, I know what it's like to work hard. I know what it's like to have and loss, all that good stuff. But anyways, we've got 24 months, maybe a little bit longer than that, give or take. No one really knows. Nothing's going to end. Everybody's like, oh, the world end. No, it ain't going to end. It ain't ending. Matter of fact, it's continuing, and it's going to continue and continue and continue and continue. You know, not like it was or not like it is, but it's going to keep going. And it's going to get hard. We're about 3 years, and that's, you know, maybe longer, maybe short. I don't really know, but we're going to find a lot out in the near future, you know. So when we start to see things get weird, that's the time we're supposed to pay attention, you know, and look around and prepare your house, because you wouldn't want a robber to come and just, you know, mess your house up. You knew when he was coming, you prepare. So there's just so many things we got to do, and and to get ready, which is not a big deal. It's like all going to work out. Multitasking, a lot of different projects at one time. That's pretty much what I'm used to. And then not only that, I got my sons, and we got people coming. I mean, we got people coming that are really just popping out of the woodwork, like David. You know, I didn't know what was going on when I'm up here looking at one of our mountains is named Indian Head, right? And I met a Ottawa woman up there. She's like David, half Ottawa. She raised her kids on the mountain. So she's telling me all the ins and outs. And I'm up there just learning and getting an education. And she's an artist. She's showing me all these old photographs of her family and pictures you can't even get, right? They're rare.
Yeah.
And she paints and makes birch baskets and all this cool stuff. So I'm buying some things from her, and she's telling me the history and of not only the mountain but her people. And I got so interested, I started trying to research Michigan Indians, and I found out the history had been completely hidden and gone. It's like they just about something's important about Michigan, because there's tribes here that we'll never even know who they were or what they were. They just completely annihilated them, but they couldn't get them off. So, and the ones left, like David's family and David himself, you know, he's one of us now. He's mixed, you know. He understands that, but he's going to use his. So he suffered racism from every side, being an Indian and being a white person from the Indians. So he understands both sides, you know. Anyway, he's blue-eyed. He looks more white than I do. You know what I mean? Got blue eyes and bald head. He's definitely looks like more like a Viking than an Indian. It's his knowledge, is what his grandmother taught him. It's what his purpose is. He's a young guy. He's only 38 years old. So you got to figure tail end of a millennial, you can call him, pretty much. Right. I mean, so very young, you know what I mean? But he can reach out to all sides because he's right in the middle there. And it's perfect timing, I think. And it was amazing. Like he's not a rich guy, even though he's a member of a tribe that's one of the richest tribes in the United States. He did end up having he caught a felony for a small amount of marijuana back in the day when it was legal in Michigan. Keep in mind, it was a very small amount. But at first they didn't know what to do. 1 minute it's illegal, next minute it's legal. So the cops didn't even know what to do half the time, right? I mean, so they were taught to arrest us, and then they were taught don't arrest them. You know, they didn't. So in the intern there, David got hit with just a small amount. I think it was like 3 grams, and he ended up catching like 2 felonies on it. That made him so he was not able to get his money from the Indian tribe. They made it a rule. So they were almost giving people felonies on purpose, so they didn't have to pay them, you know.
Man.
Well, they had.
What difference does it make whether they got a felony?
I'll tell you,
they owe them the money.
Absolutely. I'll tell you a piece of good news that just happened recently is David's tribe, their chairman ended up embezzling money, and he's ended up not being a very nice person, which he wasn't. He was actually trying to set it up for himself, and he's been controlling it. But he just got exposed, and he got caught embezzling or stealing or something, and they fired him. So now they've called David, and David's been he's been talking a little bit with some of the tribal members because they really like him. And they're like, David, what do we do? And he's like, well, my grandmother set it up. So look into the bylaws because she already has a plan for this. So in her plan, it goes back to the spiritual chief, which is him. Once it goes out of, if this ever happens, you know. So he's like, you've been playing colonial for the last 15 years. You see where it got you? You know, you left your spirituality. Like that's what they didn't do down in Mexico. So in Mexico, before you go into any type of business meeting, you have to be smudged. They have to say a prayer over you. You know, they do a little ceremony, and you do this before the meeting, and then you do it after the meeting. So the meeting, you know, there's about a 2-hour celebration and a meet and greet before the business meeting. The business meeting is roughly about 15 minutes with the chiefs and the heads, you know, and the guys, like I was in there. basically, what are you going to do for us? What are we going to do for you? What's the deal? It's pretty much a verbal deal, and then, you know, they hurry up and they already had it written out pretty much, so we just had to sign. So it was already pre-agreed in a sense, but it was a good time. I mean, we just confirmed it, and then we celebrated till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Went up to the pyramid, had a big celebration. David's staff in the south, you know, the Condor staff in the north, and then they handed the staff around. They handed this one staff around, and whoever had the staff got to talk. So David, obviously, he got to do it. He was the first one, and then the chief up there, he did it, and Juan said a few words, and they handed the staff to me, believe it or not. So I had to have a translator. I don't know, man, that was weird, dude. I'm telling you, I still remember it. I'm holding the staff up, and I had to tell my story about how I was dying and how cannabis saved me, and that's why I'm there, and I'm here to teach them, and I'm here to help them, and dude, they love me. I mean, and I love them. It was crazy. It was just
brother, we all love you.
It was like
we
in
all
the
love
air.
You.
Yeah, it was totally different, and it's like, and you come back here, oh my God, it's just like hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard. We've lost our love. We've gotten so, I don't know what it is, technical. It's just crazy. But there's going to be a group of us, obviously, that see what's going down and not going to put our head in the sand and pretend like nothing's happening. And, you know, it's our duty to do what's right no matter what's going on in the world, whether it's good or bad. If nothing happens, we'll all be living up there eating good food, enjoying each other's company, safe, with teaching our children to be, you know, they'll be geniuses by the time they're 18 years old. We spend time with them, teach them how to do, you know, teach them how to grow food, how to fix things, how to build things, you know, math and science or whatever you want to call science. It's all easy. And we'll learn our science from our brothers from the South.
Right.
So I mean, it's we got a lot of beautiful things to look forward to.
Definitely, I can see that. Yep, beautiful.
So it's been a journey.
What do you expect to happen, like, and when? Like, when do you think this is?
So it's
you're gonna take
right
over
now.
in April.
It's happening right now. Yeah, we got actually. I'm sure that you'll be able to share my website or whatever you feel comfortable with. And,
yes.
And then our website, I should say. You know, so you go on there and you can see the resort. You can see how long it's going to be till we actually take possession. I've got a time clock on there clicking down. So we've already got to start planning our summer events. So we've already started planning our seminars. We're going to have retreats with 30 couples, or 30 people, I should say, and we're gonna have weekend retreats, week retreats, 7-day retreats. So we'll be just taking people in there and teaching them, you know, like any other type of retreat, away in nature, and it'll be all different types of things, but a lot of indigenous medicine, a lot of meditation, and a lot of all different types of. We're gonna bring people in from all over the world with natural
music and everything,
medicine. Yeah, not just. Yeah, we're not gonna be. We're not going to discriminate against any medicine that's natural. We got to take a look at it, you know. So, and we want high technology too. So, we've got access to the LVD tribe, who literally owns 20 acres on top of our mountain. We have reservation property on our property. So not only are we surrounded by it, we actually have it in the middle. They bought our 9-hole golf course. A few years back before I even was involved. So anyways, they planned on putting a gaming casino, I guess, up there, not a big one, but a small one, and then a nice hotel. But we've been talking, and now that we've been talking, because they got a big casino right down, an hour away from us, that we're leaning more towards the wellness, and not only that, they have a brand new hospital about 50 minutes away. It's got all the state-of-the-art equipment. It's got MRI machines, X-ray machines. Well, we have doctors, and there's actually a doctor, and you'll see him. He's on, our board, He's my partner, and he's a disabled veteran and Navy flight surgeon. Okay, and he's also a DO. So he's a resident doctor, and we'll be treating people out of that hospital that are critical. We'll be actually treating people at the resort that are not so critical, you know. And I mean, this is all part of our plan. And so we want to have our own medicine, and we want to have our own facilities on top of our food and our water and our security and our entertainment. We got it all.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
So that's what we plan on doing. And you know, we're not. It's nothing about. It's not really religious. Even the church that we're talking about. You say church, and everybody, even myself. I'm like, whoa. But you gotta understand, it's a word, and that word gives you a lot of power, similar to what the natives have. To believe it or not.
Yeah.
Because when look at these people that own churches, they don't pay taxes. No different than the natives.
Right.
They don't pull permits.
Right.
They don't do all kinds of crap. They don't use it for a good purpose either. So we're both. We're Native American and church, so we get more protection. We get constitutional protection, and we get indigenous protection because of our founder. You know, so
right. Yeah, that sounds so amazing.
I know, it sounds good for a change, don't it? I was beginning to lose. I didn't know what to do, man. I was like, how am I even going to do something like this? They're not going to let me because they control everything we do. Well, they ain't going to control everything we do now. So that was before. You know.
Yeah.
We have an exit strategy, but it is going to take us working together, and that's one thing that they taught us not to do in the United States. They taught us, you know, do not work together. Whatever they had to keep us, you know, separated, and we had to keep us actually competitive against each other. Individualism is what we were taught from school to all the way, even in our families, like who's got better grades, who's got a degree, who's a doctor, who's not. I mean, it's always competition, and they taught us not to work together. So that's the biggest problem I'm finding in the United States right now is to find a group of like-minded people. I know there's one out there. It's small right now, and it's probably going to grow. But it doesn't take very many of us, and that's the numbers don't lie, okay? So we're only allowed so many investors per 90 days that are unaccredited, and it's like 35 or something. And that's what kind of keeps you from being able to allow people to invest in your company. They don't want poor people to invest and make money.
Yeah, right.
They don't. They keep you so you can only do penny stocks or, you know, this, that, only in companies that you are really high risk. And it's a scam is what it is. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give a few people some, they call it pre-IPO common shares in my company. And if you look at that would be like investing in Facebook before they actually went on the market or anything. That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something we're you know, it's not about money, really. It's more about freedom. But we might as well use the system for what we can to get our resources while it's still available.
Well, you have to because, you know, people have to eat and we have to have, you know, resources. So,
yeah, we have our own food bank, or food bank, I should say, our own seed bank. And with all heirloom seeds, we got to do just like the people that are doing, you know, just like our adversaries. You just got to, you know, they're not all stupid, you know what I mean? We got to pay attention to what they do, and then we got to, you know, do our own thing. So we just don't gotta hate people and hurt people, you know.
Right.
That's not in the plan. So it's just it's about working together. It's about coming out from among the world, being separate.
Well,
different.
I can just see, you know, the people coming, and I can just see people kind of, you know, getting together and living, you know, and doing this together and dancing and singing and having get-togethers and helping one another, and you know, just
we may be
everybody.
Living the best time of our life while everybody else is doing whatever.
Well,
I mean, you know, it's not going to ever be good for us because we love everybody that's around us, so it's never going to be 100%. And I'm sure it's going to get ugly no matter where we're at, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's that, we might have to come out here and grab people and bring them back. So we're going to be risking our lives probably all the way till the end. I mean, so there's a lot of things that we're going to have to do. And because not everybody's going to want to listen to us until the crap starts hitting the fan. And then we're going to have to go rescue people. You know, so I mean, that's just the way
do you need people? Are you still needing people up there to work this winter?
Yes. I mean, it's so hard. Not only is it hard just for labor, period, right now, up there's not very many people to begin with. And then the people, you know, there's a lot of older people, retired. They can only do so much. But we have a lot of good people. We have like 42 people that are full-time employed, and some of them been there 40 years, 30 years, 20 years. I mean, they love it. They love their job. Just like they're not really doing it for the money. They're very low paid up there. What we plan on doing is changing that because we're in the cannabis business. But not only that, we can, you know, we can provide other things like food and housing, things like good. I'm talking organic, top grade. I'm not talking about just, you know, Monsanto, GMO, poison or whatever. I mean, this is like we're doing everything. You aren't even going to be able to eat food. You can't even find food right now like the food we're going to be growing here. So we are going to be eating good, and we can grow year round up there. We grow inside, hydroponically, and gutter connect greenhouse. Yeah, you know, so it's all controlled environment. That's what I've been growing food since I've been young. I grew up on a small food farm, you know, vegetable farm. Yeah, just 5 acres, but that's what we did. We did. That was one of my jobs, and that was my first job, and then my dad had a job, and I pretty much took care of that. So, the time I was young, so I know how to grow food. Been doing it for a long time, and not only that, medicine, all different types of things, and we got so many resources up there. It's, you know, we're gonna have our own farms and fish farms, everything. So we got a couple of years to get things ready. We just need the more people that cooperate and help, and
it'll all be according to, you know, it'll all happen according to, you know, during, you know, in the Lord's timing. You know, it's just sometimes we want things to happen and we don't know what's going on. The Lord's the one directing things, but I can see that this is really amazing stuff. It's just exciting to see all this.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that COVID taught me that. I was like, oh my God, I thought I was going to lose my life here a month ago, and everything. You know, I almost fell out of. I did actually fall out of contract on the mountain while I was sick and dying. They put me back in contract. They want.
Well, see, that's another reason why. That's why we know the Lord is really guiding us, because just so many things like that have happened. You know, to guide you and direct you in this effort. It's just unbelievable. I'm just so excited. I mean,
it's our goal to have more than one of these. If we have time, we would like to have one here, one, you know, Mid-America, you know, South, you know, we obviously got them down in South America, and that's the cool thing, is you're going to be able to go to whichever one you want. If you don't like being up here in the winter, you can go down to Mexico. You know, you can go down there and Wuhan. They've got the same thing.
It'll be exciting
going on
to see what's going to happen with this all. But
you're getting to the exciting point. So it's been exciting, really.
Send me as many pictures of all of this that will help everybody see what's going on and see what you got going, and I'll post those as well.
Pictures. I'll send you over some decent pictures. I mean, I was limited with my cell phone and stuff when I was up there, but we did get some good pictures when we were in there. And
Brother Rob, I just want to tell you that I want to personally thank you for everything you're doing, and I just appreciate your loyalty to the Lord and to helping others, and your kindness and your hard work. You have just worked night and day for I don't know how long. You almost died like last month. You know, It's just, you know, I just thank
you. Hopefully I got immunity now.
Yeah. Well,
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for all the knowledge, for all the, you know, information, for pretty much keeping me sane a lot of the time. I was giving
keep each other sane, Rob.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, I had to keep my mouth shut, and I still do, believe it or not. I have to still keep my mouth shut. I did promise that this year I was going to be more honest. And when I say that, what I'm saying is I can't tell the people I'm doing business with what I really think sometimes, because it's just way beyond what they can even comprehend right now.
Also,
that's okay. Everybody needs healing. Everybody needs learning. So
I don't want to forget your wife Sammy too. She's worked tirelessly as well alongside you, and just thank her as well, and all the people that are on your, all the team, David and everybody. It's just amazing, and then the elders that are rising up there in Mexico, and
we got a doctor that works hard. We got so many people, and we're helping people.
We couldn't have done this without you, Rob. I mean, you're the one that's really inspiring all this, and your courage and stuff is inspiration to everybody.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm just glad to be here and being able to help everybody, and anybody whatsoever that has illness, like any type of cancer, anything really. I mean, all things are treatable, and there's a natural solution. We just got to find out.
Yeah, and I would say for anyone who does feel that they may not be, they're sick or something, this is the knowledge that you will have there with the medicines that you have and stuff. It's the only way to go, natural medicines, and we're going to be and the knowledge that you'll have there with these individuals that know this stuff, that have this ancient teachings. They know how, the medicine men, they know how to treat these things, Yeah.
Not only that, we've got 2 DOC. Any doctor or health professional that's getting fired or afraid of their job, contact me, because we're going to need them. And that's what we got right now. We have 2 MDs. One of them is Sam's dad. He's also a U.S. Airborne medic, so he's a MD, and he's a surgeon, and he works in the emergency clinic or an emergency room right now in a local hospital. So they're coming up there with us. So we're going to have surgeons. We're going to have regular doctors that are opposed to what they've been taught.
Well,
to a certain
I'm
point,
just waiting for the radio station.
Not everything they've been taught is bad. Okay, they got some good techniques. Okay,
I know.
But the ones that, for instance, Sam's dad will not prescribe any narcotics. He just won't do it. That's why he's a surgeon, and other people do that, right? He also won't get a vaccination, and neither will I DO.
Yeah.
But I will tell you one thing: I've got people. I wouldn't get one myself. Sam's not getting one. A lot of people ain't getting one, right? But I do have people that I love dearly to have gotten them, and I don't know. I just feel like right now anything's repairable at this point, but I don't know if it's always going to be that way. If you keep being foolish, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. We can't just say,
I'm not against people that have them, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not against the people that went out and got them. I think that with the food and the medicine and some of the things we're going to be doing, your cells regenerate. I mean, you get a new body every couple of days in a sense. So you just got to treat it.
So you're saying that if somebody did go out and they regret getting the shot, we could still, see what we can do to rid their body of that.
First of all, it's a spiritual healing. That's what we've left out. We left spiritualism out of everything, out of our healing, out of our business, out of our lives. Okay, so just that itself, there's been people with the cortex of their brain eaten completely off that have come back and healed miraculously, and they don't even know how.
Yep.
I can send them to you.
Well, we already know that nothing is impossible.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. So it just depends on, actually, Jesus says anything that you say, I'll do. And not only you think I do great works, you're going to even do better.
There you go. The sons
of God you're going to do greater than these works that you see me doing. Why? Because we got more technology than he had back then.
Well, that's coming up. We're going to be doing the greater works, Rob. That's what we're going to be doing.
We'll have hospitals with thousands of people coming in. Not that he didn't do great works, don't get me wrong, but we just got more technology than he had at that particular time, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they could, maybe he could fly or something. But
this is the time the Lord has, prophesied for this to happen. So.
Yeah, it is. It's whatever. This is our time. Okay.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's going to be back in just a couple of years, so it ain't that long.
Yeah.
It ain't that long. I mean, I just got to do the best we can, you know. So I'm either going to be, you know, here when he comes back, or I'll be a martyr, one of the two.
Oh, I think you'll be here, brother.
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping.
Well,
I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about it since I've been a little kid when I was sitting in church 4 times a week. You know what I mean? All I could just read that over and over again. It just made, I believed it, you know. I believed this was going down. I look around, and when I was younger, I'm like, man, these people are acting just like what this Bible says. You know what I mean? They love themselves more than they love each other. You know, they love
That's right.
They love this world more than they love. I mean, from the time, and these are people in my church, and not, you know, and I'm thinking something's wrong here. So it's never been right for me. I've always noticed something, and my life has been, you know, an experience that I'm sure was designed just for this, you know. So
yes,
obviously.
It was. It definitely was, and we need everybody. We all have a part in this. I mean, so, you know, everybody is join hands.
Everybody's a healer in their own way, you know, and that's what
everybody's
they got to
a healer.
understand. It might not be physical, you know. It might be mental. It might be emotional. It might be spiritual. It might be whatever, physical, you know. So we all got
a part to play. Yep.
Yes, sir. And nobody's look down on their part, you know. And everybody, honestly, that's what I'm trying to explain to people right now. I can't keep doing everything by myself. I can't do it all, you know. So I've been doing.
But we're getting this out to the public. We're getting this out to the public, and
we are. It's gonna. You know what? We're one company that I really don't care to grow fast, like that fast.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be taking things on so fast, really quick here. It has to be like that in order to make all this happen, right?
Yeah, and it's time it'll be exponential.
We got a lot of work to do, so it has to be really fast and organized. But we can do it, and that's what the cool thing.
Well,
is.
It'll never happen unless the Lord's backing it. So and that's
exactly.
why I know it will.
No, it's pretty much.
That's why I know
we just got to do our due diligence. That's all. So.
Yeah.
And,
well, I just got to say thanks again, and I appreciate, you know, you explaining all this to everybody on my channel, because we're all excited. We're just waiting to see what's going on, what the Lord's going to do next, and you know, I'm just so glad we were able to talk about this and get this on the, you know, get this out there for people to, because I know everybody's trying to figure out what's going on, and
everybody, man,
you know,
they're wondering.
This will help.
But what's your options in our reality? What's anybody's option? I mean, I felt like I didn't have no option. That's why I went up north looking for land, because I felt like I didn't have no options. So I don't want to be. I don't want to be in the city when the. I don't want to be in the city anyways. I'll be honest with you. I live on a compound in the country right now, 30 acres, surrounded by everybody in my neighborhood's got 100 to 50 acres. I probably got the smallest lot, and I got lakes and everything, and I don't feel comfortable at all down here. It's just too close, and it's not enough resources for us to feed other people. You need to feed other people. You can't just worry about yourself. You know, we need to work together to feed anybody that's hungry. You're either gonna have to turn a sword on them, or you're gonna have to feed them. So that's the way it is. And I can't do that. I can't do that to my neighbors. So
no, I understand.
I've got to be able to feed everybody. And up there, we got resources, we got food, we got water, we got the high ground, because there's going to be a lot of changes even in our land. You know, with earthquakes and tornadoes, just like the one that ripped through, down there in Kentucky or whatever. I mean, just so many things that we got to deal with. You got to consider, other than just, and plus, honestly, it is cold. But like you said, winter cleanses a lot of things. So we just got to be warm. You just got to be warm in the wintertime. It's easy. I lived here my whole life. I know how to do it. So, anyways, we'll talk more about everything. And I mean, and we're gonna have on our I'm sure on your channel and on our website, we're gonna.
I hope you can. Yeah, I hope you can come back on, and we'll just maybe have kind of an update for people whenever you need to, and let people know what's going on. So.
Well, when you come up there, you'll be coming up there pretty soon. I imagine probably this spring or whatever. and
yes.
or sooner. And then once you come up there, you could do some videos and everybody can see our property. I love your videos when you go out there exploring. It's relaxing.
Oh,
a lot of
be a
people
great
don't get
place
to do that all the time. You know.
Yeah, film there right by the river and the falls.
Nah.
That's great.
Yeah. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be some good video.
Yeah, I hope you get a radio station. That'd be great.
Yeah,
too.
we've already got towers. We could put our own tower up there, no problem. No
yeah,
problem.
I think we're going to need a way to get the gospel out for sure. That's important.
We could probably put towers all the way on all of our resorts, all the way down to Mexico. You know, we'll have.
There you go.
We're going to have a lot more technology and a lot more resources than what. Yeah, there's a good chance that we could sway trillions of dollars within the next couple of years our way, just for these projects that we're trying to do. And then there's going to be a rough time, and then we just come out on the other end. So.
Well, you know what? It'll be great as long as we got each other. We'll be fine.
That's really all that matters. And honestly, this is going to be a heck of a lot funner than what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Even if working like what we got going on right now is going to be a lot more satisfying, a lot more feel a lot more accomplished, like we're doing a purpose or something. I mean, what are we doing right now? Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, so we'll come together. And make it happen one way or another. Like you said, it's definitely got to be God's will. Everything that's happening, the Great Spirit, got to be leading.
Well, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, brother, and I appreciate it, all that you're doing there.
I appreciate it, Dave. Everything you're doing too. So, thanks a lot, brother.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we've already been talking for like way over an hour. I guess that's probably.
I know. I'm like this is gonna be I don't even know how long.
Yeah,
it's been like 2 hours.
That's good.
Dude.
We got the whole hour program right here, and we were able to.
Out of it.
Yeah, I can't wait for more updates about what's going on, Rob, and we'll get we'll do this again sometime real soon too. But I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. So we'll talk to you later.
All right, brother.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Talk to you later.
You. Yes, sir.
Love you too, brother. Bye.
Okay. Bye.